Hey y'all, Alicia here. I just wanted to jump in real quick because I realized after recording the yoga session that I didn't give a trigger warning that some of you might appreciate hearing. So I'm going to share that with you now. In the very last pose, Supta Baddha Konasana, where we also do a different version of Savasana, I start to share something that might be a little bit triggering for some of y'all. I share a personal experience related to my past with an eating disorder. So if this might bother you or trigger you in a way that is not safe for you, go ahead and pause the video when we first get into that pose before I start my spiel. If this is something that you won't have an issue with or that you'd like to hear, then totally disregard this message and continue in through the practice as you normally would. If you are gonna pause the video, I would recommend staying in that pose for at least 3 minutes. If you can hold it for longer or if you feel called to, by all means, please do so. All right, love you so much. Enjoy. Hello and welcome to your yoga class. Alicia here. Today's class is going to be for when you are on your moon cycle, aka your menstrual cycle, your period. It's going to be a really good class for cramps. It's going to be gentle, slow, and a little bit restorative. So what you'll need for this class are 2 blocks if you have them. If you don't, no worries. You can always use 2 pillows, or you could use 2 big books, like Harry Potter sized books, ideally. And you'll also want some pillows and a bolster. If you don't have a bolster, I don't have a bolster. I just use a really, really big cushion. So get creative. I've also got a blanket here today. It is hot. It's a summer day in Arizona, so I'm gonna be doing this class on top of my blanket, but you can always use your blanket to cover you up if you get cold. It's just an added layer of cushion, of comfort, of yumminess to help ease this time that might be a little bit uncomfortable for you. Looks different for everyone, right? So let's get started. We're gonna start laying on our back. And if you want, you can grab a pillow, have it underneath your head, super cushion, super comfort, all class long. And just lay back, bring the feet wide, knees fall in, toes are pointed inward, heels are out. And just take a moment and settle in into your body, onto your mat, into the practice. And start to tune in with the breath. This is a really great pose if you are having any lower back pain as well. And just to ease it a little bit. You should feel the entirety of your lower back on the mat. If you want, you can go ahead and take your hands and place the palms by your pelvis, tuning in with your womb, with the organs that specialize, that play a key and pivotal role in this time of the month, this time of your cycle. And just send that area of your body some love, some gratitude. And, I don't discount that this time of the month may be really, really uncomfortable for some of you. But I also think it's so cool that this part of us, this part that connects us with another realm, with another dimension that allows us to bring life into this earth. And if you do have any, it's hard to speak to a wide audience here, but if you have any issues, of course, please take this with a grain of salt. But I think it's so cool what our bodies are able to do. And sometimes we get a little caught up in any pain that it brings or any discomfort, but how can you show your body some gratitude right now? Your body and all of its amazing functions are a miracle if you choose to look at it that way. Just give yourself some love, give yourself some gratitude. Thank your body for the amazing processes that it undergoes and takes on. And then hug your knees into your chest and take a slight rock back and forth, massaging out the lower back, the sacrum. And then cross one ankle over the other and take some circles with the knees going in one direction. And then you're going to cross the ankles the opposite way and take the circles in the opposite direction. This is one of my favorite things to do when I'm having lower back issues. And then we're going to take it into a figure 4. So take the right ankle, place it over the left thigh, and hug in the left knee towards body. You can clasp behind the left thigh or in front of the left shin. And then you can bring the right elbow to the inside edge of the right inner thigh and hug it in. As you well may know by now, if you've been practicing with me, trauma and repressed emotions get stored in the hips, but so does any tension that comes along with the period, with the menstrual cycle. So it's great to get a good stretch in those hips. We're going to get a lot of that action today. If you want, you can find some stillness in this pose, or you can take a slight and gentle rock from side to side. One more cycle of breath. And then you're going to switch. Bring the left ankle on top of right thigh. Hug in right knee, whether you grab behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Bring left elbow to inside of the left inner thigh. You can push that inner thigh out with the elbow, creating a deeper stretch. As you hug the knee in towards body. And again, you can stay static or still, or you can find a little bit of dynamic movement, taking a slight rock from side to side. This is your practice. Honor whatever it is your body is asking for today. And uncross the legs, hug those knees in one more time. And we're going to take a slight little mini rock up and down. And if this is too intense, just stay up. Whew. All right. And then roll over the knees into a cat and cow. Onto all fours. Spine is neutral. And on an inhale, lift the gaze. Bring chest up and forward as you arch the spine. Exhale, gaze goes down. Spine rounds into cow, cat. I always confuse these at the beginning of class. This is cat. Inhale into cow. Exhale, cat. Take this at your own pace. And then find a neutral spine, tuck the toes, and we're gonna take it into the first and probably the only downward dog. Start to bring the hips up and back. You can keep a nice generous bend in the knees if you need or if you would like. You can also play with straightening one knee as you bend the other, walking it out. Taking it nice and slow, listening to your body, honoring your body. And then go ahead and drop the knees gently. Bring the knees wide, toes touch behind. And go ahead and grab, sorry, I just touched the mic. Hopefully it wasn't too loud. Go ahead and grab a cushion, whether you got a bolster, a couple pillows, a big couch cushion, and put it between your knees. We're going to take a supported child's pose. Walk your hands out on either side of whatever it is you're supporting yourself with, and relax down into the support. If you'd like, you can turn your head to one side. And then switch the head so that it is facing the opposite side. And I just realized that my watch wasn't going, and that's usually how I keep the time. So I don't know what time we're at. So we're just gonna kind of go with it. We're just gonna flow, see what happens. That's how it is with life sometimes, right? We think we have things in place, and sometimes those things just like don't happen, or we just like don't press the button correctly. And it's okay to flow with it. And if we link that to our periods, it's like sometimes we just don't feel up to doing certain things, or sometimes we need to slow down and just honor whatever the body is needing. Just kind of flow with it, flow with that discomfort. And sometimes we're able to do more, and maybe we need a more intense practice, and that's okay. I don't know if that synonym was very good, that synonym, that metaphor. I don't know if that worked, but we're going to go with it. And I guess that kind of brings it full circle, doesn't it? All right. Start to walk yourself up off of the bolster, whatever you have in front of you. And then you are going to come into, swing your legs around in front of you and come to a Baddha Konasana. So feet are going to be together, knees fall wide. You can have the feet farther in front of you or closer towards your pelvis. You might want to play around with it and see what feels best. And then grab either one or a few of your supports. You can stack them if you want. And go ahead into a forward fold. You can give your supports a nice hug if that feels good for you. We're really going to be getting into those hip flexors throughout the class, while also allowing that stomach and those cramps hopefully to ease and relax throughout these poses. And I don't know if you can hear that banging, but my neighbors are having construction done. And I'm hoping that the mic quiets it, mutes it out. But I'm not positive, so hopefully it's not too distracting, if you can hear it. Keep breathing. And if you've got one cheek down on the support and your head is faced in one direction, go ahead and flip the direction of your gaze, of your cheek. Well, you wouldn't flip the direction of your cheek, you would just flip cheeks. But I think you knew what I meant. If at any point you want to bring the legs in closer towards you or bring the feet out farther from you, go ahead and do so. But if you are comfortable where you are at, then I invite you to stay. One more cycle of breath. And start to bring yourself up off of your support system. If you want, you can just scooch it out in front of you a bit. And we're going to go into Pada Vista
what is it? Upavista Konasana. Sorry about that. My brain didn't want to recall that for a moment. Seated straddle. So legs are out wide. You want your knees and your toes to be facing up towards sky, and then you can scoot your support system back in toward you. Again, we're going to take another forward fold. So gently walk yourself on top of your support system. Keep your knees and toes faced up towards sky, and you can stay up on elbows. You can hug the support, and you can also bring your head down or bring one cheek to the bolster or the other. Up to you. And I do want to mention here too, I have really flexible hips. So my version of this straddle pose might look different than yours. Your legs might be quite a bit closer together. They might be even wider. We all have different bodies. There is no right way. Well, that's not true. There is no wrong way. The right way is whatever feels good for your body, wherever your body is at right now. So if your legs are closer together, then that is fine. That's perfect. Your version of yoga never needs to look like my version of yoga. Just like what you experience for your period time, your moon cycle, does not and probably will not look like mine. And that's okay, that's perfect. We are meant to have individualized experiences and paths. And there might be a lot of crossover and a lot of similarities, and there also might be a lot of differences. Go ahead and flip the cheek if you have got one cheek rested. My body is like, why didn't you do this on day one? Like, I really could have used this on day 1 or 2, and you're doing this on like day 5. And I'm like, body, you're totally right. I really could have done this earlier, but it's okay. I'm doing it now. Actually, maybe that was my ego, and I think my body's just really grateful. Either way, little sneak peek into the inner dialogue that is Alicia. Take 2 more cycles of breath here. And start to walk yourself up off of your support system. And then put them off to the side, but where you can easily grab them. Go ahead and bring one knee in and then the other. Being gentle, moving slowly. And we're going to take a Paschimottanasana now. So a seated forward bend. Have the legs straight out in front of you. Go ahead and bring the flesh out from underneath the sit bones. And similarly to the rest of the class, it will be supported. So if you want to bring your support system on your legs, whether you got multiple pillows, cushions, you know the deal, whatever feels good for you, and then go ahead and fold forward. Arms can be out on your cushion. They can be hugging your support system. They can be down by your legs onto the mat. Whatever feels best for you. Allow yourself to relax into this pose as much as possible. See if you can use your breath as a way to soften. Using the exhale as a way to sink deeper into your support and into the mat. And if at any point you want, you can use the blanket to cover your shoulders and your back. But if you're practicing on top of one and that feels good right now, then you don't need to move. Don't mess with what's working. I have my third eye or my forehead down on my support. But if you have one cheek, go ahead and flip cheeks. Face the other direction. Take one more cycle of breath here. And start to walk the body up off of your supports. Put them aside again, close by. Or actually, just bend the knees and bring the support in front of you. Bring one leg in front of you. We're going to go into a supported pigeon pose. So I'm going to start with my right leg in front. Bring my left leg back. You can have your shin parallel with the front edge of the mat, but if that's too intense on the knee, bring that heel in closer to your hip. You can also, if this is too intense, you can also bring the heel underneath your thigh. and then relax forward. Yogi's choice on this one. And if you can, if it feels good, go ahead and relax forward. Again, you can hug your support if that feels good. Breathing through any and all sensations. Using the breath as a tool to help you soften, deepen, and relax as much as possible. See if you can allow the exhales to take you a little deeper and let go a little more. On this one, I'm not going to switch my gaze until I switch legs. If you'd like to do it differently, then you are welcome to do so. Take one more cycle of breath. And gently and slowly start to walk the upper body up off of the support. If you are sitting on your shin and your heel, you can just drag that left leg in and drag the right leg out. You can actually do the same if you were in a regular pigeon and just kind of shift through to sit on your heel and then switch legs. When you have your legs switched and positioned, hopefully in the same way that you did on the other side. Of course, our bodies aren't even from side to side, so if you need to make any adjustments and it looks a little different from one side to the other, that's okay, that's normal. And then go ahead and walk yourself down onto your support. And you may need more than a bolster. You may want a couple extra pillows, some blocks. I didn't mention that on the other side. This is another great place where the blanket might feel really nice on top of your body, over your backside. For me, my legs are really enjoying this fuzzy blanket underneath me. And again, it would be way too hot to have it over my back. Allow yourself to sink deeper into the pose with every exhale. I also forgot to mention, I apologize, if your hip of the leg that is forward in front of you, if you need a little extra support, you can always stick a cushion or a block underneath that front hip. So if you're up like this, it can be really great and supportive. I'm so sorry if that is applicable to you, that I didn't say that on the first side. Hunt for any more tension that you might be holding in this pose and see if you can release it for these next 2 cycles of breath. And slowly, gently start to bring your upper body up off of the support if you were laying down on one. And then you're going to extend the left leg, keep the bolster where it is, come onto one side of the hip, and you're gonna face the back side of your mat. You can keep your support behind you, grab your blocks if you have them. If you do not have them, you can grab 2 pillows. You're gonna bring whatever you've got and bring them on the outside edges of your knees. I'm gonna set up a little back cushion here, kind of stack so that my body goes down at an angle. You can also just lay flat on your mat, and we're gonna take it into Supta Baddha Konasana. So you're gonna lay back, feet are together, knees will fall out wide, and you're gonna place the blocks underneath each thigh. I like to place mine at an angle because it perfectly will land on my thigh in a really supportive way. You don't need to do that, but I would recommend it if you do have blocks. You just place it at an angle. It's like perfect. And of course, if you don't have blocks, use your pillows. You don't need any of those props for this pose at all. It just makes it a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more supported, a little bit more cushy. And allow yourself to relax into this pose. We're actually going to end in this pose. And again, this is a really good one where you can use your blanket and put it over top on the front side of your body. Bring a little bit more cushion and comfort. You can have your hands out to the side with palms face up, or what I would recommend is to place one hand on heart, one hand on belly, or you can place both hands by your pelvis, by your ovaries, and send that part of your body, those parts of your body, some love, some heat, some warmth, some attention, some gratitude. I love you, body. Thank you, body. Thank for doing all of the amazing things that you do. And earlier you heard me say, I was sharing some of my inner dialogue with you, and I shared how there was this part of me that was like, why didn't you do this on day 1 or 2? Day 1 or 2 of the period. And now, as we're starting to conclude this class, I'm realizing, I'm actually on the tail end of my cycle now. But this is a really good way to end it. To just show my body so much gratitude. We got through another one. And it's kind of weird. I actually love my period now, and that is a discussion for a much longer video. But to give you a little bit of, I do feel like I'm feeling called to share as we settle in. And like I said, this is our Savasana, so we're just going to rest here for a little bit longer. But for so long, I associated my period with being fat. I used to have a really bad eating disorder. So for the majority of my life, I actually didn't have a period. Sometimes I would, but most of the time, I didn't have enough body fat, or I didn't have enough matter on my body to be able to have my cycle. And when I would get it, I was filled with terror and horror and sadness and pain. And when I started to heal in 2020, and I started to release my eating disorder and start to really enjoy food and gain some much needed and very healthy weight, my period came regularly. And I was always on birth control too, which made the periods I did have pretty much non-existent. And I was on it up until recently, and I decided to get off because I wanted to really regulate with my body's completely natural rhythms, needs, hormones, without any man-made influence. And I'm totally all for birth control. I'm not like here to be political or tell you what to do with your body. And this is just a personal story, but I personally needed some time with my body exactly as it's meant to function. And so for me, that looked like having my IUD removed. So I did, and I just was able to cultivate such a deeper relationship with my body and with my period. It's like I love it, and I love every part of it, even the parts that I think most women really despise because it's uncomfortable and it's a little inconvenient sometimes, or a lot inconvenient, and it can be messy, and I don't have to explain it to you if you're here doing this class, but something about it just, I don't know, it feels, oh gosh, I could cry, it just feels so sacred. And I think it's because I never had that appreciation for my body in that way. And the fact that I feel it now is such a gift. It's so beautiful. And I don't always give myself and my body that love and that gratitude. Wow, I'm straight up tearing up. I did not expect this. Thanks for bearing with me. But I love every moment of it. And I also love how it helps me slow down. There's so much yang energy in this world, especially in the Western world. And when I say yang, I mean like go, 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 hustle, hustle, heat, intensity, productivity. And sometimes, a lot of the times, I'm seeing that this world, but also myself, like I need more rest. I need more yin. I like that relaxation. I like that rest. I like feeling into my intuitive self and my receptive self and stillness and creativity. Ugh. So anyway, that's a somewhat short, somewhat long, depending on how you want to look at it, mini spiel of gratitude that I have been cultivating and feeling every time I get my period. And with that, we will end the class as maybe you give yourself a little bit more love and a little bit more gratitude. If you want to take a regular Savasana, corpse pose, go ahead and do so. But for the rest of you, if you are ready to move out, go ahead and take the blocks out from underneath your knees. You can roll onto one side of the body, keeping the upper body supported with the bolsters or pillows underneath you if you've got them. On your next exhale, bring yourself to be seated and keep the eyes closed as you move gently and slowly. We're going to end like we always do. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Hands meet in prayer. Exhale, Om it down. Om. Keeping the eyes closed. Bow the head. Forehead to fingertips, chin to chest, and thank yourself for making it to your mat, for prioritizing yourself, your health, your well-being, and honoring your body's needs at this time. And then bow your head to the ground, thanking Mother Earth Gaia for her resources and for allowing you to thrive off of her energy and all that she has to offer. Thanking your spirit guides or God or whoever it is that you would like to thank. And bringing the upper body back up. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed that chill, gentle, restorative class. Hopefully, if you are experiencing any cramping, maybe it's eased, maybe it's gone away completely, or maybe you just experience a little bit of temporary relief. Either way, I am sending you so much love, and I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.